What's up, everybody? I'm 𝑧Wade, the 𝑧Wade, and 𝑧Wade Photo. Reblum has sponsored a few videos, and I've really been getting a lot of use out of it. I think it's really amazing. And so I wanted to show the audience kind of a more in-depth look at how I use it, a bit of a demonstration, if you will. But first, quick little pre-written kind of description of what Reblum is. It is an AI-powered portrait retouching tool that delivers professional quality results with minimal effort. Unlike other retouching software, Reblum preserves natural skin texture while effectively removing blemishes and imperfections, making it ideal for professional photographers and retouchers who want to save time without sacrificing quality. But I add to that it's also just absolutely incredible for hobbyist photographers or amateur photographers. Maybe you're new to being a professional, right? You just started working and you want to get really amazing results without having to learn an entirely new skill set of editing that is retouching. I'm here to tell you that 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes on really bad cases of doing manual frequency separation and clone stamping and all that, it is not a good time. That's not the fun part of editing. But let's get in with the meat and potatoes here. If you already have it, that's awesome. You might use this as a little bit of a guide, but if you don't have it yet, there will be a link in the description, and this is going to be a really good look at how it works, how fast it works, and I'm even going to show you right now how to set it up. So I'm a Lightroom Classic person. I like to use integration, right? I like to have everything kind of connected. Although Reblum does work as a standalone product if that is what your workflow is. If you are an integration person, then this is how you're going to set it up. You're going to go to Lightroom Classic and you're going to go to Preferences. This one's probably inherently going to be Photoshop, but the next one, you can add an additional external editor, and I have that set to Reblum. Specifically, I've got a little bit of a preset setup. I like the file format to be TIFF. I like the color space to be Pro Photo RGB because it says right here 16-bit Pro Photo RGB is the recommended choice for best preserving colored details from Lightroom. And so Pro Photo RGB, 16-bit. You want max resolution. If you let this be 300, which it will probably come standard, then you're not going to get the full resolution of the images when it opens in Reblum. So you want to make sure that you do that to 600. That's the most that it can be. And then under compression, I like having no compression. And you can actually name this preset. I have mine saved as Reblum Pro Photo RGB. And you can save the current settings as a new preset. You can restore default presets, whatever. You can delete this preset. There you go. That's all you have to do. Hit create. You're good to go. Now, whenever you click on images, you can go to edit in and you'll have your option right there. You can also just simply hit edit in Reblum without doing like a preset, and you can just manually make sure that all of the settings are the way that you want it every single time. So my workflow, I like to do basic adjustments for exposure first. So I'm going to do this just real quick. This one, it's just a tad dark. I'm just going to brighten it up a little bit. Then I'll move to my next one, brighten this one up just a little bit. This one, I'm actually going to go a little darker and moodier with this one. And so I'm just going to leave this one as it is. For this one here, I actually like the brightness already. I might do this. I might bring the highlights down just a little. Shadow work and things like that, I tend to leave till after Reblum. This looks okay. It's just a little dark overall. Bring it up just a little bit. And that's what I would call just basic adjustments. I don't do any contrast work yet. I don't mess with texture, clarity, dehaze, nothing. Then you can highlight all of your images by doing Shift and Select. And then we can do that right click and we can edit in Reblum. There's the preset I just made, Pro Photo RGB, and we'll see how long this takes. As you can see, it's actually creating copies with my edits in Lightroom. This is a non-destructive process. So that took about 33 seconds, and my computer happens to be generation 1 of the Apple Studio. And Reblum actually advertises that it works on computers that are 5+ years old. It's a very lightweight program, honestly. And this is why. It's very simple. You start off with a couple of options. You have natural and fashion. Natural is going to remove like the main imperfections, and fashion is going to give you more of that magazine kind of look. I generally tend to be more of a natural looking person myself, but I'll show you what both of those look like here in a little bit. So you select either one of those and you have a general, and this controls the strength of the retouching. Then you have your texture, which is going to control the amount of detail in the skin. And then you have tone, which is like this unsung hero. It removes redness from the skin and it doesn't mess with the lips, which, by the way, the reason it's the unsung hero is because it can be an absolute pain to remove redness in the skin without removing it also from the lips and Lightroom. And finally, we have this preset box, which has 3 options in it, and I'll give you a brief explanation of what those do and like when you might use them. So ultra fast is going to process only prominent skin concerns on the face only. It's not going to pay attention to the body skin. It's basically like as if it was just working the general slider only on the face. So that's something you would do if you needed like a quick turnaround on your edits because you shot like a very large event and you just have tons of photos, or something like a preview gallery and you just need basic cleanup before you go into your final editing. So if you have a little bit more time, you don't really need a quick turnaround, then fast is a good option if you're only really wanting to retouch the face. So this is going to give you a full shebang retouching, not just like the prominent features of the face only, and it's going to skip the body. So this is good for like event photography, and it's mostly faces. So think of like a large batch of photos. You got like, 300 photos, and there's a lot of different people. There's not like a main focus necessarily. That's where I would probably, opt to use the fast. I, however, tend to work in smaller batches of photos of much less than 100. What high quality is going to do, it's going to take facial skin and body skin, full retouching, the full shebang, the full power of Reblum. So like high-end fashion shoots is where you would use this. Or if you're insane like me, every single image, every portrait session, if you're doing like client work, let's say you're doing like senior photos, you might go ahead and just go ahead and stick with the high quality. Pimple on the shoulder, pimple on the face, it's going to handle it. It's going to handle the tone correction is going to be all over the body. In fact, I can see it working a little bit even on some scratches on Allie's stomach right here. We'll get more into that in a moment. Now, the features actually don't stop here. There are some upcoming features, and those features are actually included if you opt for a lifetime license. Reblum does, however, offer a monthly subscription and yearly subscriptions if that is more of your style. And so currently in development, but coming soon, is shine removal, which obviously is going to eliminate shine and oily reflections on the skin. Then there's teeth and lip enhancement coming. That's going to be your teeth whitening and very subtle enhancements to the lips. And then eye perfection, which is going to be really useful because that's masking work. And what that's going to do, that's going to enhance the eye clarity and detail. It's going to brighten and sharpen the eyes. And of course, Reblum always focuses on maintaining a natural look that doesn't look over-processed. So you can expect that kind of natural feel out of those upcoming features. So I feel like we've been looking at this image for a while, so let's just jump to another one first. So first, let's take a look at the natural selection. Let's check out a before and after. So this is the processed one. This is before. That's after. Now, if I take my general slider and I max it out, it almost totally killed this little thing. And you can see the skin texture. It does look real, but this is very much like fashion magazine, kind of sparkles, it's very aggressively retouched. Let's see the effects of our texture slider. And actually, I kind of like the way that cranking general all the way up and then allowing the texture to be like full detailed texture. I kind of like how that looks. Now let's check out the effects of the tone slider. Again, I said this is the unsung hero. If we pull it all the way down, it desaturates a little too much for my liking. But if it's totally just maxed out, we can see all this redness coming through. And that's not great either. And so if we just find this little happy spot about right there, let's look at the before and after. I mean, it's incredible. We even cleaned up some of this down here in this area. This is the body skin because we're in the high quality mode. And there's things that I did not even notice. Like I didn't notice this mark over here on her hand. I may have missed that completely if I was doing this like old school of going in and clone stamping or doing frequency separation, doing all the things. I might have just missed that entirely. And even like in this plane of focus, there's so much detail that's being preserved right here, even in the fashion mode. But again, I'm more of like a natural kind of person. I like some of the darkness under the eyes. I like, you know, more freckles coming through, all the freckles. Because I'm a control freak, I mean, I could just leave it there, but I'm going to make sure that I leave my mark on this image. I'm going to pull a texture, see if there's a spot I like that more. I actually kind of like that maybe a bit right here. How much of that red do I want to take out? Maybe like that much. That's done. If I wasn't talking and I wasn't explaining, that would take me like 5 seconds. So if we look at the before, we have little tiny little bumps right here that are catching this side light in a pretty aggressively, right? So it's making them very contrasty and very obvious. And so if this was the first image in my lineup, I might hit natural, kind of pull that to about right to where they just disappear. I kind of like the texture around that 75% mark. And then for tone, we don't have a ton of red coming through in this, so it honestly doesn't matter that much. It's not having much effect. So I'll just kind of stick that like right there, and that'll make sense in a second. And then whenever we come in, maybe it's just a little bit more. Maybe we need a little more in general. Right there, I think is pretty good. Now let's check out the before and after. Now, what's really, really incredible is we've been sitting here and we've been making adjustments to a couple of these, but you really only need to adjust one. This is an image we haven't seen yet. It just batch edited that. It batch edited all of these. They haven't done nothing to them. It's already done. Let's see what it was before. How much better is that? Still looks like Allie. It doesn't look fake. It's keeping basically all of her freckles too, which is what I always want to preserve. Some of the freckles that are darker than the others, it kind of balances them out a little bit, but the freckles are still there. It's not removing them entirely. And I also noticed that down here, there's a little mark right here. So anyway, normally this whole process is taking me an average of about 20 seconds from the time it gets in here to the time that I hit OK, because I work in small enough batches that I just go through and I make sure everything that has been batch edited looks good, you know, and so it takes 20 seconds, and that literally takes longer than getting the images to look good, is going through and making sure I like how they all look and no additional adjustments need to be made on any other photos. So far we spent 33 seconds loading these images in. It would normally take me about 20 seconds to get everything where I wanted, maybe another 20 seconds to verify that everything looks the way that I want it in all the images. So that's 20, 40, 50, 60, 70 seconds. And now we're going to hit OK to see how long it takes to get everything back into Lightroom. So that's about 1 minute and 40 plus 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 10 seconds plus 20 seconds, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Total turnaround time, just south of 3 minutes. And I cannot retouch a single image in 3 minutes. And I did it to 9 images in that time. Incredible time savings. And guys, it really is just that simple. Now, before we close, I want to just show you a side-by-side of all of these. Here we go, super clean. Just about every freckle is accounted for. This is 100% the identity of Allie. And it's just smoothed out. The red is less aggressive in the skin. It's clean. It still has texture. Here we have a more subtle, but obviously significantly better retouching here. Again, we're less aggressive on the red, especially right here. This area right here, I think, is red because it's maybe it was cool out this day, and so maybe some dryness. And I don't see anything else that I need to fix on that one. On this one, huge improvement because we had aggressive flash coming from this direction, and that cast this light over these tiny little bumps that you might not even notice unless we had this really harsh light coming across. Doesn't matter. Gone. It's also smoothed out some makeup. It darkened this a little bit to the point where I'm not even worried about that. Very clean, 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 and very natural. There wasn't a ton in this image that needed retouched, but we had little bumps here. Of course, the unsung hero, the tone, pop in a little bit closer here. Too close, a little too close. And this one, again, it didn't have a whole lot that needed to be retouched, really. We have some dryness around the nose and then some redness from that dryness. It's totally cleaned up. Looks natural. It just kind of looks like color in the skin. Look up here. There's also some improvement in the scar. It just kind of lightened it a little bit. I would leave that. I always leave scars. Scars make people who they are. And so I always leave those. But having it just kind of lightened up a little bit certainly doesn't hurt. Just to pull some attention away from it while still keeping it in there, it would be the name of the game. And we have gotten to the very first image that I felt like I would do a little bit more with in Lightroom or maybe Photoshop. I'm not going to do it here. That's not the focus of the video, but I would just take this one image that we have so far, and only one image, into Photoshop, and I would just take that out. I would probably leave that, and then I would just kind of clean up this dry area right here a little bit. That would probably just take me an additional 3 minutes or so. This right here will be way easier to take care of than having to go like this. And everything else, the skin just looks amazing, very smooth, very real. I love that it's preserving these little details around the eye. This one here, this looks amazing even at distance, mostly because of that tone. It just smoothed out the colors right here, smoothed out the skin. The freckles are still the freckles. Took care of that, took care of this. I would have noticed that after I finished the first retouching, but it went ahead and took care of that too. It's my opinion that like every portrait needs a little bit of something. Anything is going to just enhance the other features that you want to pay attention to. I mean, we have so many great curves in this image. The shoulder blades, right? The shape of the arms, right? We have all kinds of different shapes. We have a hypothetical triangle here, you know, we have a hypothetical triangle forming here. Those are the things that like your eyes go to. But when you have like just little blemishes and things like that, they're definitely going to be noticed. They're not a big deal, but you take that out and you only have this beautiful glow. You see how not having the skin smoothed just a little, just naturally like Reblum does, whenever you don't have that, do you see this glow that I'm talking about? This looks a little bit harsh, a little bit aggressive. The cameras are just better than your eyes, right? So that's why it's so easy for cameras these days to get offensively sharp. And I think anymore, you just need something like Reblum to just kind of smooth things out without like de-sharpening them. And that is why I've been enjoying Reblum so much, is because it is so clean and natural. I don't feel like it's taking away from my subjects. I don't feel like it's making them look like so artificial that whenever they look at it, I don't feel like they're going to be like, well, that doesn't look like me. I don't feel like I'm doing a disservice to somebody by overcorrecting their natural features. I want the natural features there, and it's so easy and it's so fast. And I just had to cut out a bunch because I was ranting, just because I really do enjoy the product. If you want to try it out, you can try it out for free for 7 days, no credit card required. All of the processing you just saw was done locally on my computer. It didn't go up to a cloud. I don't even have to have the internet to use it. My images aren't being harvested to train the AI algorithm, you know, to like improve it. It's being done locally. It's on my machine. I can take it out into the field where there's no Wi-Fi and I can work on images. Anyway, if you decide you want to pick it up, that link will get you a 20% discount. They offer lifetime licenses, which is my style, but they also have yearly license and they have a monthly subscription. Try Reblum, see if you like it. I think you will. I've really been enjoying it myself. But anyway, thank you Reblum for sponsoring the videos. I love, love, love your product. I'm 𝑧WADE, the 𝑧WADE, and 𝑧WADE Photo. Stay sharp, YouTube.